Let's brainstorm. What are the four basic rules of brainstorming? 1. Generate as many ideas as possible before considering any of them. 2. Never criticize another participant's ideas. 3. Avoid censoring seemingly crazy ideas. 4. Evolve existing ideas to expand of them.
What is brainstorming? Brainstorming refers to the practice of generating ideas and putting them down in concept form, such as on a piece of paper or in a computer program. You can use brainstorming to force your brain to come up with new solutions to problems or ideas about a product. Traditionally, brainstorming is a group activity. The energy of the group helps each person feed off everyone else. In addition to generating ideas, brainstorming can help you weave connected ideas together to form a cohesive whole. However, there is no one correct way to brainstorm. Some people like to storm on their own, a pad of paper and a pen in hand, a cup of coffee close by. They like to get their ideas on paper before they consider discussing them with others. Meanwhile, other knowledge commerce professionals need engagement with other people to truly get into the brainstorming frame of mind. You might have heard of a brainstorming season. That's exactly what we're talking about there. Why and when should you brainstorm ideas? If you have a problem you need to solve, or if you are about to embark upon a new project, brainstorming is the best way to get ahead quickly. You will generate ideas fast and move toward a solution or product more effectively. However, brainstorming doesn't always happen at the beginning of a project. If you ever watched the television show House, the characters engage in a technique called differential diagnosis. They look at the set of symptoms a patient has and throw out theories about potential illnesses or diseases. It's a way to shut down problems that couldn't be culprit and the considered diseases that might explain the patient's symptoms. Brainstorming can work in similar way. If you feel stuck with a current project, engage in some brainstorming to figure out what's wrong. Come up with and either discard or consider potential solutions. What are the best conditions for brainstorming? Whether you are brainstorming with a group or by yourself, you need an environment that's conducive to creativity and affords you privacy. You might have brainstorming seasons in your office, for example, or in a quiet meeting space, such as a coffee shop. Yeah! Ideally, everyone will be able to contribute evenly to the discussion. You might have to set up rules for letting people speak. It's also a good idea to nominate someone to write down the ideas. That way, you have one running list instead of several separate lists. Of course, this doesn't apply if you are brainstorming on your own. You also want to set up for the long haul. Don't start a brainstorming season when two team members have an appointment in half an hour. Give yourself plenty of time to go through the process. What is individual brainstorming? Individual brainstorming occurs when you storm by yourself. It's just you and a piece of paper or electronic device. There is nothing wrong with individual brainstorming. While groups often generate more ideas, you can come up with plenty of solutions or ideas on your own. Once they start flowing, you might have trouble stopping. Later in this article, we'll show you several brainstorming techniques that work for individuals who storm by themselves. You need a strategy. A way keep of practice organized so you don't feel overwhelmed. What is group brainstorming? What is group brainstorming? Group brainstorming works the same way as individual brainstorming, except that two or more people participate. Everyone gets to throw his or her ideas into the hat, which makes it a social experience as well as a practical one. Have you ever gotten into a conversation with a friend and started talking about innovation or some other idea that captivates you both? As you each toss out ideas, you get more and more excited. This phenomenon happens when knowledge commerce professionals get together for a brainstorming season. Energy level increase, team members congratulate one another on great ideas and bonding occurs. Our time groups that's brainstorming together often become more insignific. They know how every other person on the team thinks, so they're able to storm more effectively. How do we brainstorm effectively? Effective brainstorming, as we mentioned above, requires preparation. In addition to following our guidelines regarding the right time and space for your season. Following are our 4 steps you can take to make your individual or group brainstorming season as efficient and fruitful as possible. Step 1. Prepare the group. Olmadı. Even if you're working by yourself, you need to prepare yourself for brainstorming. Choose a place in which to storm. Let the others know about your plans if you're working as a group, and explain what brainstorming is if other people don't know. The idea here is to get everyone into the right frame of mind. This isn't about moving forward on a project, reaching a specific goal. You're just producing, discarding, and converging ideas. That's the entire point. Step 2. Present the problem. Your next job to make sure that everyone is in the right mind frame for brainstorming. Explain the problem that you hope to correct so that everyone is on the same page. The goal here is to make sure that everyone works toward common solution. You don't want the conservation or the ideas to spread out in tangents. As mentioned above, it's a good idea to welcome so-called wild ideas, but those wild ideas need to have a foundation in the goal that you are pursuing. It's your job to make sure that everyone understands the problem that you're trying to solve. You can prep the group by explaining what has not worked in past time, by letting everyone know that each team member has a voice. You might even write the rules brainstorming in a place everyone can see them. That way, everyone knows how to behave during the brainstorming season. Step 3. Guide the discussion. Once you have outlined a problem, start the brainstorming season by asking each team member to present an idea. You don't expect to generate this solution during this first round, but the goal is to get people talking and sharing. As the brainstorming season unfolds, it's your job to keep the conversation on track and to remind everyone of the rules. Even though brainstorming is relatively informal practice, it should still yield fruitful results if everyone returns their focus and shares it on their minds. Step 4. Take an action. At some point, brainstorming seasons must end. You need to decide which of the ideas have merit and move forward with the solution. Maybe you have found a way to solve marketing problem. For example, or perhaps you have come up with your next online product. Regardless of the subject of the brainstorming season, it needs to end in action. Roadmap storming. Maybe you are in the midst of developing your next online course. You know what you want to achieve with the course and your predecessor, how you want the course to begin. But you're not sure with what happens in the middle. That's where roadmap storming comes into play. During roadmap storming, your goal is to map out each step in the process to connect you from point A to point B. This type of storming often works best in a group because everyone can contribute their ideas and help connect the dots. However, this doesn't mean you can't conduct roadmap storming by yourself. Focus on adding each new dot in the process and figuring out how to connect them in a way to make sense. Cultural storming. We all know how important cultural norms have become digital marketing. It's essential to understand your audience, demographics, and other qualities so you can effectively market to them. You have your own set of cultural norms that defines who you are and influences your cognitive process. But what if you could check those cultural norms and become someone else? It's only in theory and if only for a brief period of time. During cultural storming, your goal is to put yourself into someone else's shoes and then their cultural heritage, background, and other demographics as that person. How would you approach the problem that you're facing?